guy who could cover the story and say, look, I didn't know about any of this, guys. I'm so sorry all this came out. Oh, horrible, the humanity. This is what Nick actually thinks of the victims. This is Nick's actual attitude to the victims of Steven. This is him talking about Steven's wife, who was also leaked in those videos. It was also leaked on Kiwi Farms.
It's pretty okay. Can we stop this fucking sweeping, please? It's pretty fucking obvious what went on, isn't it? There wasn't fucking consent. It's obvious, bro. It's fucking obvious, dude. It's fucking obvious.
Let's.
All right, Adam to the call.
Now.
Show logic. Let's talk about it. Show logic. Let's talk about it. What do you mean it's obvious?
Melina commented on it and said that she didn't consent.
I just trust Melina.
All right, hold on. So I went
okay,
on
okay. I tell you what. If she's lying, why doesn't Destiny prove it then?
I don't know. That's why I said.
Why did he react like that? Why did he react? Why is he not commenting on it in any meaningful way? It's fucking obvious what's going on, bro.
Who knows?
Bro, the sweeping is unbelievable. I'd heard it, but I didn't know it was true. Tom sweeping for Destiny yet again, bro.
Here we go.
All right. I went
on. Okay, hold on. Let me talk to Shed real quick. Okay. Here we go. Okay.
The effeminate voices, Nick.
For Melina, she could be telling the truth. For Destiny, that clip does look bad. But I've been traumatized by the internet, by the amount of false allegations that have happened, that I'm just waiting.
What happens when someone levies a false allegation? The person at the center of the allegation responds and debunks it, right?
Yeah, he hasn't responded
So why
yet.
hasn't that happened?
I don't know yet.
Is Destiny the kind of person that shies away from responding to controversy?
No, but he usually does wait.
So
for what?
The thing is, based on everything I've seen, I think you're probably right. But I'm not going to go out of my way to cast judgment on it when I don't fucking know.
Yeah, bro, I'm not saying you have to do a full thing about it. I get that, right? But like, can we stop at all? It's fucking obvious. It's obvious, okay? It's very clear. What happened?
Okay, but the problem to me is, like, you say it's obvious, and like, I think it probably is that way if I had to guess, but I just don't know. I don't know the people involved. I don't necessarily trust Melina. Okay.
So, can I just say a thing, please? So the problem that I have with that one video with the Melina stuff is I went back because I didn't trust a random Reddit post with a 30-second clip that was clipped from multiple live streams. So I went back and I downloaded the full context to every single clip that was used. So I have like a 2-minute version of every.
Are you talking about the clip from her stream that was posted to Reddit?
There was 3 different live streams that were posted to Reddit, and the clip was cut up from like 6 different points into the stream and stitched together. So like the people are pointing to one clip where she goes, "That's not consensual, and we're not going to talk about that, and I'm going to ban you," in context with all the other stuff. It sounded like to me, for that one specific clip, she was referring to the stuff from the Leafy thing where people had revenge porn of her or whatever, or like content that wasn't actually her, and it was being shared around. That's what I got from that. But people were connecting that clip to the other clip. This is what I've been trying to. I wasn't sure, so I think Melina should give a more clear and concise statement if she wants to even put this thing out.
I'm going to remind you, he knew everything. He had documentary evidence of a particular victim after this. He knew Melina was leaked in the clips. But no, I'm sure Melina right now is addressing the Leafy thing right after a mountain of leaked pornography, which includes her, has been exposed on Kiwi Farms. I'm sure. Yeah, that's what that's it. That's the ticket, Nick. That's it.
That's the other thing.
It's kind of interesting because that's one of the things that I had argued with Destiny about. One of the first time we actually had like a real argument, because I wanted to stream a few times and it was kind of friendly, but then we had like some conversation about Leafy where Leafy had made some. He had done some stream where he had shown some. I don't know if it was a full nude.
It's like it's unreal. These people knew everything, and they're pretending like I just don't know. I'm a babe in the woods. And you'll notice this, won't you? You'll know things somehow by magic before the people who are in very close proximity to the people who are doing things know about them. It's kind of weird. Funny how that works, isn't it? This achieved 2 things, okay? First, Melina, okay? Melina, who, by the way, Destiny is directly threatened. If you leak any shit, Melina's not going to leak any shit, because if she does, she knows I have stuff that makes her look demonic. Melina has been threatened by Steven. reputationally. What this achieved was making it so that if other women came forward, they know two people, at least two people with massive channels, will not back them up. They will cast aspersions on their testimony. They will obfuscate. If their testimony has even an ounce of ambiguity about it, often for self-protection, they will divert it. Maybe it was this, forcing them to say it again. Here's the question for you guys. If Nick's reason for not coming forward about what was happening with Destiny was really concern for the victims, why was he actively obfuscating their accounts in public? Why was he actively insulting people and casting aspersions on people who were pointing out the very real power dynamics at play, that there are mobs of people who will bully you if you make any allegation against their Lord and Savior, Stephen Bonnell? Why? Well, here's the answer. Because he doesn't give a shit. He doesn't give a shit about it. He cares about one thing. He wants to be the popular guy on YouTube. He wants to look like the good guy, and he's hedging his bets. Because he doesn't know if the victims in this case make fools of themselves, win some kind of legal dispute or whatever, and after this call, he changes position. Probably because he recognized what I did, which is one of these guys is going to talk. One of them's going to slip. But at this point, he had everything. He probably had more than me, actually. You're not comfortable weighing into this? Do nothing. They didn't do this. They went out of their way to reinforce narratives that defended Stephen, to reinforce narratives that cast aspersions on Stephen's victim. They are complicit. They have actively gone out of their way for no reason except naked self-interest to help Stephen cover up the fact that he was taking recordings of people, with or without their consent, we have reason now to believe sometimes without, and just sharing them to God knows who. Because let me tell you something, guys. What do you think the odds are that Rose is the only person Destiny leaked these things to? What do you think the likelihood is that there's like mountains of this stuff just floating around? This stuff goes back years. But those are their choices. Come clean, alert the public that there is a danger, or say nothing. They did neither. They colluded with Stephen while it was safe, and then jumped ship when it wasn't. But they're very stupid, so they didn't do it very well, and they left a trail of breadcrumbs showing exactly what they were guilty of. Okay. Chud Logic didn't do this. Chud Logic chose number 2. He chose to stay silent. It's not his fight. There's a lot of complicated stuff out there. I would prefer that he come clean about it, but you know what he did do? You know what he didn't do? He didn't come out and disparage the victims. He didn't come out and say, look, these people who are talking about, like, there are these things, look, that are making it so that victims are afraid to come forward. This is a problem that needs to be addressed. We cannot just let this, like, just leave this to unfold. There are systems in place to make sure that it doesn't. Chud did not sweep. Chud didn't defend Destiny. Chud didn't he didn't come forward and explain what he thought was going on, but he didn't go out of his way to turn the scale in the other direction either. He didn't go out of his way to make it more likely that Destiny would get away with it and be able to continue doing it. And when he observed people that he had informed of the details sweeping for Destiny, he pointed it out. He didn't call them out for the lie that he knew they were making, but he pointed it out, that they were sweeping and they knew better. He did that. He didn't expose the extent of what he knew, because he also had everything I had. I mean, I'm not that much of a sleuth, guys. Everybody else knew more than me. Sorry to break the illusion. I'm just a nerd, not a smart nerd. Chud did a right thing, because there are multiple right things here. It's not the right thing. Life's more complicated than that, but he did a right thing. How's it going with Twitch, Dan? Dan Clancy is laughing at you right now. This is how, by the way, Dan, just quick reminder, okay? When your kids grow up, they're going to see you whining and talking exactly like this, defending a sex offender because he's the only thing that makes you feel like you're a man in the real world. That's you, just so you know. That's your children, that's your parents, it's your relatives, every friend you know, even the people who are working with you right now hold you in contempt. Just so you know, everybody hates you. When you're on your deathbed, everybody hates you. They're all gone. Nobody wants to be around you. You play the creepy uncle to a bunch of failed streamers who are trying to profit from Destiny, but everybody finds you disturbing. Nobody likes you. Just go away. Go away. You're not winning this. Everybody thinks you're a joke now. People will think you're a joke forever. You pulled out too late. Sorry, buddy. You talk too much. You didn't know how to not to talk. Smart people don't talk. Smart people don't gloat about how they lied about stuff. Ooh, I'm so clever. I lied about shit, and they didn't catch me. I'm saying, look, I'm doing it right in public, and they can't do anything. But they did, though. You're discredited forever. Do you feel cool? Like, do you feel like a big man doing stuff? Because from where I'm sitting, you look bored. You look like someone who spent their adult life to this point on self-aggrandizement, and you realize at the end of it that you were about as interesting as a turnip. So desperately, with just nothing but an abyss of bland existence ahead of you, you saw Destiny getting a lot of attention and doing shit, and you're like, oh boy, I can be that. But you can't. And the golden goose is cooked, unfortunately. But Mr. Girl, I had to apologize to Mr. Girl with some asterisks next to it, 'cause who knows, I don't know these people. He did something badly, but his motives were not as bad as I thought. I think there was a noble impetus in there, and I think he took hits. Probably they didn't have to, but I think he took hits in order to protect people that he had an obligation to protect. And the result of that, unfortunately, is that he looked like he was doing the opposite. So that sucks. Hopefully I'm not proved wrong. I like being pleasantly surprised by people, but, you know. J-Stock. Let's talk about J-Stock. J-Stock turned on Destiny the moment he the moment he learned that Cherry had received a secret audio recording of an encounter she had with Steven. This is a felony, by the way. Just to be clear. Apparently there's more on the way. There's a catch to this. J-Stock, like Nick, is not very smart. And his impulse was to try and come clean when it was too late, when everything had been revealed, to expose his end of the story in order to, I don't know, atone? I'm not entirely sure. I mean, if he wanted to, he'd step away from his channel and go into private life and just, you know, get a normal job. Again. Because he makes money from this. But he decided to start leaking DMs with Steven. And in these DMs with Steven, we see him informing Steven of the leaks, of Solo's leaks, the leaks of the sex tapes and the nude photos that Steven had taken and shared without the consent of anybody in them, and warning Steven that he needs to take them down and get rid of them. You know who he didn't warn? Any of the people in the footage. He didn't warn Melina. He didn't warn Pixie. Didn't warn anybody. He was concerned, like Kyla, about his bag. He was concerned about his way of life. And so he went to Steven and alerted him alone. And then went quiet. And when people would try to bring it up, he would do the exact same thing that Nick DeOrio and Tom did. He would silence them using Pixie as a shield. Because if we pretend that Pixie's name isn't known, then we can pretend that we are protecting victims by actually refusing to acknowledge that the person who is one of our principal financial beneficiaries is a sex offender. Is a freak, who gets off on taking recordings of people, sometimes apparently, as we've learned, without their consent, and then just giving them away because he seems to get off on the risk. Which means, by the way, dear friends, we are all masturbating Stephen right now as we speak. Think about that. Think about how fucked that is. I watched Nosferatu last night. Great movie, by the way. Really great. And it turns out Stephen watched Nosferatu the same night I did. And, I thought to myself throughout it, this kind of reminds me of recent events. And it turns out it reminded Stephen of recent events too. He self-inserts as Orlok. Stephen watched Orlok raping and sucking the blood out of a woman to death at the end of a film and thought, oh, that's so fucking hot, I wish I could do that. Let me tell you something, guys. Look. It's been a long time since I've been religious, but, I believe in demons now.